Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.
Hello and welcome to Nirmal Bang, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dadia. We have with us Riya Singh, technical analyst, Currencies joining in. Riya, welcome to the show. Let's start talking about with what we've been seeing on the Indian rupee. For quite some time, we did lose momentum. We almost lost a rupee against the dollar. And now suddenly we are seeing some bit of strength that is building in on that front. What do you make of this strength, and what is the reason that's causing this kind of strength on the Indian rupee?
Hello, Eden. So, if you look at the overall momentum that we have seen in the rupee, it has been under quite a lot of pressure since the US elections, votes counting started. So first off, it started with getting weaker against the dollar, almost losing a rupee against the dollar. Most probably because there was not only the pressure of the U.S. elections, but also the rising of the virus infections. But apart from this, we were witnessing quite a intensive buying from the RBI as well into the dollar. So this was another reason that the rupee was losing itself against the dollar. The forex reserve uh, has reached a new high from the previous levels. So the sudden fallback that we are witnessing right now is probably because of the losing traction in the dollar index. Because obviously, people were hoping that the U.S. elections, as we went through the counting phase, it was quietly pushing towards the Biden winning, and if that happens, obviously, then there is direct linking to more fiscal measures. Dollar getting weak ahead. So this same sentiment is what was reflected into the dollar index, which paved the way for the rupee to gain back its strength. Now, how far will it do so? I think if you look at the career, year from today's session, it did open on a weaker note, but then it again got to around 74.54 again, settling at 74.35 against the dollar. So I think this is majorly we can see a small pullback that can happen. Talking into the technical terms, so a small pullback can happen into the rupee from the current depth that it has seen, mostly due to the numbers that was published not only with respect to the COVID-19 but also the demand and employment numbers that was seen into the first week of November, which is clearly indicating that the expected recovery momentum in the Indian economy continues to be weak, and the current demand that was seen in the October was majorly due to the festive demand and such. So I think a small pullback can be seen around 74.65. I'm not expecting rupee to get weakened further than 74.85. That is the maximum resistance that I can see as in the rupee currently. So I think you can surely buy on dips on a shorter term, but for a positional buy, wait for the rupee to reach a high, and you can definitely go for a short as a positional short towards 73.85.
Right. So that's with regards to where the Indian rupee goes. Now, apart from that, if you have to talk about the pound as well, there is that little bit of bullish sentiment. Brexit talks are the most important point that we need to watch out for with regards to the pound. What is it that you're expecting in terms of movement on the pound?
I think pound will remain bullish at least for a week because the US trade talks are into a very critical week with the EU, and after 14 straight days of negotiation, it is coming to a consideration that the both the side are agreeing to some common ground. So we might see some positive statement that can come out from the Brexit talks, and
Right. And
aim
lastly,
for
with
a hello.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, so we can definitely see positivity to be continued into the pound. So probably around 98, 90, 99 levels for the coming session, at least till this, Brexit thing is over.
Right. And what do you make of the dollar index? Because clearly, you have the Fed meeting, which is due as well. Uh, no new measures. With that, we're still not seeing any positivity with regards to the dollar index. Are you expecting this bearishness to continue?
I think dollar index will remain weak for the coming sessions because the Fed has maintained its stance towards zero, and there is the push. There is a pushback on the whole fiscal measures as well because we were expecting before election, but now after the win of Joe Biden, it will take approx 73 days or 80 days for him to move into the White House and get his command on the roll. So the fiscal measures is likely to be pushed further, I think further than Jan for the US. So as far as fiscal measures goes, I think it will be a pushback. So we can see small sentiment change, some greenback coming up, but even there, a whole the whole virus infection thing is still a very on high, and then again with this a long frame of no of the presidential command over the whole working of the pandemic, I think it will put a stress on the economic recovery as well. So I think dollar index will continue to remain weak, but there can be a slight greenish tick that can happen for at least a session or two. But I'm not expecting it to be, going into a green zone vastly. I think it can test, maximum around 92. It's at 90 to 79. I think it can test 93, 93.50 on the higher side, but going forward I think it can test 92.25, 91 for the coming sessions.
Right. So, what are the strategies that you would want to recommend?
I think one can definitely go long into the rupee for current session because there is a data that has come in which is working as a negative for the rupee, as and plus the whole US election thing is now settled and we know the outcome, and the fiscal measures have been pushed out for the US. So we can see some green shoots that can happen for the rupee. So you can definitely go long into the rupee above 74, 74.35 for the target of 74.50, 74.60 with the stop loss of 74.20, 74.15. The other strategy that you can follow is going long in the call. 74.25 call, monthly call will be a good strategy to go forward to, I think, for the rupee. And then the other long strategy that you can go is definitely for pound. You can go long for the pound above 98.48 for a target of 98.75, 98.90 with the stop loss of 97.8. With the stop loss of 98, 15.98.
Right. So, these are strategies that we should be watching out for. Thank you, Riya, so much for joining in. Thank you, panelists, as well.